The Swedish government is going to get rid of dance permits. A funeral was flash mobbed by dancers, and a man was arrested for having sex with a cow. A cow. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast. That's right, the only daily weird news podcast. The Swedish government is going to get rid of the dancing permits. Wow. Well, now in Sweden, you can dance if you want to. You can dance if you want to, and you don't need a dance permit. I don't know why you would need a dance permit. Perhaps there was some bad dancing going on in Sweden for a long time. A century of bad dancing, and they were like, we got to do something about this. All right, from now on, you're going to need a permit to dance. You have to prove to us that you have twerk skills. You're going to have to take our twerking exam, and then we'll allow you to dance. I'm very curious. Was there just so much dangerous dancing going on? Like, wow, why you need a permit for dancing? I guess it discourages gathering. Maybe that was the issue. And partying. Unlawful partying was going down. Well, you know, if you want to just have a secret dance party in an old barn without a permit, that's something you could do. Does that sound familiar to any of you? Where's Kevin Bacon when you need him? Okay, let's get some information. It says Sweden's center-right coalition government wants to cut the red tape when it comes to dancing by abolishing a decades-old requirement for restaurants, nightclubs, and other venues to obtain permits before they allow patrons to shimmy and sway and twerk. The proposal made last week means that venues no longer would need a license to organize any sort of dances. Instead, as a general rule, they would only have to register with the police department, which can be done verbally and does not cost anything. Oh, great, verbally. You can just tell the cop, hey, man, we're going to have a dance party later in my attic. It's right, we live right over there. Just letting you know, verbally, baby, did it. Hey, man, we're going to have a big dancing party in the next Sunday, big dancing orgy in the basement. Just let you know, verbally. Applying for a dance permit incurs a fee of at least 700 kroner, it says, $67 for the establishment. But I thought it could be done for free here. It doesn't. All right. So now they're saying a permit incurs a fee. As it is now, owners can lose their liquor and business licenses if police officers come by and find out that a venue did not have authorization to allow the patrons to dance. All right. Everybody stop dancing. I don't have a license for this party. This is kind of funny. Here's a quote from the Justice Minister, who has a super Swedish name. All right, let me try and say it. Gunnar Stromer. Gunnar Stromer. That's great. Gunnar. The first name Gunnar is amazing. That's an amazing name. It is not reasonable for the state to regulate people's dancing. By removing requirement for a dance permit, we also reduce bureaucracy and costs for entrepreneurs others who organize dances. Yes, that was a terrible Swedish accent. I realized I don't know what that was. I have a cold, so it's a mixture of German and cold. Swedish media outlets welcomed the move to abolish the dance permits, which have been called outdated and moralistic. The government proposed having the change take effect July 1st, although it requires parliamentary approval. So if the parliament agrees, but you don't know, you can't count on parliament to approve such things. Parliament is a lot of old dudes that are probably afraid of dancing and afraid of dance parties, and they think dancing is the devil's work. So who knows if the parliament will approve this. In 2016, the Swedish parliament voted unanimously to do away with the permits, but the requirements still exist in law and is enforced. So they voted unanimously to do away with the permits, but they still enforce it? It doesn't seem like the local law is even listening to the parliament in the first place. What good is it if you pass laws or remove laws or restrictions in parliament, but then it's not enforced in the real world on the level of local government? It seems ridiculous to me. The Swedish media says for the last 20 years, lawmakers from every party except the Social Democrats have favored abolishing these permits. Yeah, well, it was abolished in 2016, but you guys aren't enforcing it. What are you doing? This just seems ridiculous to me. There's no need for these dance permits in the first place. It seems very much like, I don't know, from the 1700s or something. It's like, confess you're a witch. I saw you dancing. You're a witch. You were dancing. If you were caught twerking back in the 1600s, for sure they were going to say you were a witch. I would totally bet on that. I saw her moving and gyrating in the forest. You mean I was twerking? Come on, man. I was twerking. I was twerking to Aaliyah. I don't know who this Aaliyah god is, but you seem to be possessed by it. Witchcraft, we say.
Yay!
A woman's funeral was flash mobbed by dancers. A dance troupe flash mobbed a funeral with a performance of Queen's Another One Bites the Dust song. This was following the request of a woman who wanted her send-off to be memorable and not sad and not depressing. She wanted Another One Bites the Dust, bah, and people dancing around the casket. That is hilarious. I would love this at my funeral. Why not go out with a song and dance? Did they get a permit, though? I'd imagine you need a permit to have some dancing going on in a funeral. That was a callback to the previous story. And yes, this is 2 dance stories in a row. If I could find a third, I would do it. All right, do you guys know what flash mobbing is? We have to define our terms here, by the way, before we move forward. A flash mob is like a spontaneous gathering, like a pop-up of people at a place. A lot of times it's in public. So imagine you're at a funeral and then all of a sudden a dance troupe just appears out of nowhere and dances to Another One Bites the Dust. Another One Bites the Dust. Hey, hey. There was video of this funeral and the dance mob, and it shows some mourners initially looking confused when the dancers emerged from the pews midway through the funeral of Sandy Wood from Bristol. But they eventually began clapping along to this rock anthem from Queen. That's great. I like that the audience enjoyed it, or the mourners, I should say, because you can imagine there's some Karen mourners out there who are like, this is inappropriate. Not at a funeral, man. Can't have dancers at a funeral. It's inappropriate. We should all be just crying the whole time. I came here to mourn, and that means cry. I didn't come here to dance. Let's talk about Sandy Wood, the lady who requested this at her funeral. She must have been a very happy woman, right? With a great sense of humor, I can imagine. She was age 65 when she died, and she was one of 30,000 victims of the contaminated blood scandal. What is the contaminated blood scandal? It does not say. That sounds horrible, to be part of the contaminated blood scandal. Poor Sandy. Sandy requested this stunt as part of a funeral that also included her sparkly high-heeled shoes and handbags being displayed alongside her pink coffin. The words written on the side of her pink coffin, going out in style. Sandy definitely going out in style. I'm really, really glad that they honored her requests for this. We have one of Sandy's friends named Sam spoke to the media who said, she wanted everyone to remember her funeral, but not for sad reasons. She left the world as she lived it, and that was being herself. In addition, Sam told the media surprisingly that it was actually difficult to find dancers willing to perform at Sandy's funeral. He said they weren't comfortable doing it. But the cabaret dance group called Flaming Feathers, who provides dance classes in Bristol and Bath, accepted the challenge. One of the group's dancers, Claire, told the media that flash mobbing a funeral was a bit daunting. But, it was also really exciting because it was different to what we normally do. We had to sit through half the service, though, along with everyone else with our coats on. So that was quite nerve-wracking. And then when the music came on, nobody had a clue what was going to happen. And then obviously we had to jump up and do our routine, our dance routine. It was scary, though. But a memory we'll never forget. It was a lot of fun. I just have to pat myself on the back. That was the best Monty Python doing a British woman accent I've ever done on the podcast. You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, what can we say? Funerals, oftentimes, very depressing. So why not infuse a little bit of fun and entertainment and music and humor into them? I would love to see more of this. And, maybe there's room for a business here. I mean, someone should start a business, happy funerals, something like that. Funeral parties, I don't know. And then come up with various ways to infuse fun and humor and a lightheartedness to funerals. I think there should be a business like that. And I mean, I certainly would like my funeral to be something that people are at least laughing at. You know, I imagine maybe we play some of my stand-up comedy clips, maybe a little bit of the podcast, and anything else I can come up with. Flash mob would be good as well. I think that was a great plan. What do you guys think about having some fun at the funeral? Do you think it's out of line, disrespectful? You can call the show 646-450-2012. Have you ever been to a funeral that something like this happened, or some fun thing or funny thing occurred? Something that was actually ordered by the person that had passed as well? You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. A man was arrested for having sex with a cow. This is utterly ridiculous, guys. I mean, come on now. It's not what they meant when they said pound the beef, dude. That's pretty bad. I wonder how they caught him. Did the police conduct a stakeout? Hey, I'm really milking these puns up top, aren't I? Yeah. All right, this is disgusting, by the way, but we have to talk about such things. People are having sex with animals all the time. I mean, I covered this on the show. This guy's only 19 years old. The poor kid, he's off to a rough start here. 19-year-old man suspected of having sex with a cow that was tethered on a land in Ihala, Widiawatata in Wiragula, which is located in Gambaha. All right, let's try it again. The cow was tethered on a land in Ahala Widiawata in Wiragula, Gambaha in Gabaha. He was taken into custody by the Wiragula police. Wiragula police. I can't. He was produced before the Gambaha acting magistrate Mahesh Harith. And oh boy, this is a tough one. I had no idea I was gonna be confronted with this difficulty. Okay. The police told the courts that they arrested the suspect during investigations of the complaint received from the landowner who eyewitnessed this incident. Ooh, this guy's going to need some therapy after eyewitnessing his cow getting stopped by a young man. Ugh. The magistrate ordered the prison superintendent, Mahara Prisons, to refer the suspect to a psychiatrist in Ragama. They're right away recommending psychiatric treatment, it says. In addition to prison, which you probably should. There's something wrong with you if you're sleeping with cows, I think. And I feel horrible for the cow, obviously. Although some people would say that's a moo point. A moo point, Jonesy! Enough with the puns! Sorry. It's not a moo point, though. The cows suffer, too. This is abuse, I'm sure, on some level. You know? Cows just trying to do its thing. Just trying to eat grass, provide some delicious milk and cream, and you got some 19-year-old climbing on top of you. I mean, it's uncomfortable. And how do you get your job done when someone's molesting you like this? It's no bueno. And yeah, I hope this guy receives some help, and you can get him off the cow tip. The cow tip? He's on a cow tip. Yeah, because it's India, man. There's a lot of cows in India. And so if you're attracted to cows, it's just rough living, you know? You got to help this guy out. Get him onto something else here. Get him onto some what we would term normal sexual behavior, if you can. People have mental disabilities, and we need to support them in every way that we can. He's 19 years old. He still has a chance, guys. He still has a chance. The cow, on the other hand, I'm not sure. We need to get an update on that. Another one stoops a cow. Another one stoops a cow. Hey, hey, hey. Another one stoops a cow. Another one stoops a cow. Stooping the cow. What's up, y'all? You made it all the way to the outro, so I rewarded you with a song parody to Another One Bites the Dust, but I made it more appropriate for the podcast. Just trying to be creative, guys. I'm all hopped up on all kinds of Dayquil and caffeine and Mary Jane. Just trying to get through the day, guys. Feeling horrible. But here we are on Monday, MLK Day, celebrating MLK Day with an episode. Very important to recognize MLK Day. Very important person from our history, as you know. Interesting fact, his real name is Michael. Did you know that? I think a lot of people knew that. I don't know. I was just trying to insert a fun fact into it, but I don't have a lot of fun facts. Got a lot of weird news stuck in my brain, though, after doing this podcast for 5+ years. That's for sure. Let's give a shout-out, by the way. Shout-outs are in order. I'm going long on this outro. I can't get it together. Okay, Glenn Philbrick. Let's give some love to Glenn Philbrick. Glenn Philbrick, we love you in the closet. Glenn Philbrick joined the Patreon and gave me a nice big pledge. So I want to thank Glenn for supporting the show. Super gratuitous of Glenn. Very nice. It's a great way to support the show and to show love. So Glenn, please accept my graciousness. Does that make sense? Accept my graciousness. Accept my gracious shout out. My loving shout out. And please enjoy the extra content in the Patreon. I'm gonna put some stuff in there later today, I think, as a matter of fact. I put in some stuff the end of last week that got some pretty positive response. I've been watching a lot of weird videos, man. Oh boy, I'm into some weird stuff. I've been putting them in the Patreon. You guys can get an insight into my weird brain by joining the Patreon. Patreon.com/weirdafnews, or download the Patreon app on your smartphone. Do a search for Weird AF News, or go to weirdafnews.com. Super easy. Go to the .com website. You can click on the Patreon banner. That's how you do it. Yeah. Well, I hope you guys had a great weekend and enjoyed the Florida Friday episode. I think it was a doozy. Got some messages about it. People were digging it. That makes me feel good. Yeah, we'll keep doing them. Yeah, we'll just keep it up, Just going to keep on trucking. Keep this train a-trucking. Going to keep throwing coal into the fire on this trucking steam train. This Weird AF steam train trucking down the Weird AF tracks, guys. That's how we do it. And I ain't going to stop. Won't stop, won't stop, won't quit. Won't stop, won't quit. That's right. All right. See you tomorrow. And in fact, that's proof that we won't stop, won't. Don't take my word for it. See me tomorrow. See if I don't stop, don't quit. See if there's an episode tomorrow. I'll prove you wrong. I won't stop, won't quit. You think I'm going to quit? I won't stop, won't quit. We'll see you tomorrow.